We live in a time where people are more connected than ever, yet so many feel deeply alone. There is a loneliness epidemic, and everywhere you look, people are craving attention, closeness, and connection. But at the same time, there is another group of people moving in the opposite direction. These are the people who look at a message from someone who constantly drains them and choose not to reply. They stop answering the phone, they stop chasing, they stop explaining themselves. And what makes other people uncomfortable is this: when they walk away, they do not feel broken, they feel peace. Most people who choose peace were not always distant. Usually, they were the dependable one, the listener, the peacekeeper, the person who stayed calm in chaos and carried emotional weight that nobody else wanted to hold. Maybe you were the friend who always answered late-night calls. Maybe you were the one in your family who kept everything from falling apart. Maybe you became the person who understood everyone else while nobody really stopped to understand you. And after enough time, something changed. An invisible line was crossed. You got tired of conversations that only happened when someone needed something. You got tired of explaining boundaries to people who only respected convenience. You got tired of pouring into people who never poured back into you. So you stopped. You stopped reaching out, you stopped over-explaining, you stopped trying to keep one-sided relationships alive. And when you stopped, the sky did not fall, the noise just disappeared. And in that silence, you realized how exhausted you had really been. A lot of people will call that cold, but often it is not coldness at all. It is self-protection. Your nervous system is always scanning your environment, asking one quiet question: am I safe here? And safety is not only physical, it is emotional too. If you spend enough time around people who bring guilt, tension, chaos, pressure, or emotional confusion, your body eventually starts reacting to them like a threat. That is why some people do not slowly pull away. They shut down all at once, not because they are heartless and not because they do not care, but because their system has reached its limit. And for many people, that pattern did not begin in adulthood. It began in childhood. If you grew up in an environment where you had to constantly read the room, then you already know this feeling. You learned how to detect mood shifts quickly. You learned when to stay quiet, when to be useful, when to disappear, and when to emotionally prepare yourself. That kind of environment teaches a child something powerful. Closeness is not always comforting. Sometimes closeness feels unpredictable. Sometimes it feels unsafe. Sometimes it feels like work. And when that becomes your blueprint, peace starts to feel safer than people. That is why some people become highly selective about who they allow into their lives. Not because they hate connection, but because they understand the cost of the wrong kind. And this is where an important distinction needs to be made. There is a difference between isolation and protection. There is a difference between shutting the world out because of fear and becoming careful because you finally learned your worth. Some people build walls because they are scared. Others build boundaries because they are done betraying themselves. That difference matters, because protecting your peace does not always mean avoiding people. Sometimes it means choosing better people. It means paying attention to how your body feels after an interaction. Do you feel lighter or drained? Calm or tense? Seen or used? Your body keeps honest records, and people who have been overextended enough times usually become very good at spotting patterns. They notice inconsistency quickly. They notice when someone only reaches out when they need something. That is not always paranoia. Sometimes it is pattern recognition. Sometimes it is wisdom earned the hard way. And eventually, solitude stops feeling like punishment. It starts feeling like relief, because there is a huge difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is the pain of wanting connection and not having it. Solitude is the peace of choosing space. So if you have become more selective, more private, and more protective of your energy, that does not mean something is wrong with you. It may simply mean you learned one of the hardest lessons a person can learn. Your peace has value, your energy is limited, and not everyone deserves a seat in your life. Protect your peace.